saying? What's happening? And we're live. Through you, Chairman Ross. Mr. Ramsey is just trying to join us here.
Okay, we'll just hold off, see how he manages before we call the meeting to order.
Just looking at two spectacular Oreos gorging on our grape jelly out in the garden.
Actually, I refilled mine this morning and the female came within a half an hour. Very delighted to see it full there again.
And we discovered that the catbirds like it too.
So do the grosbeaks.
No, the catbirds.
Yeah, but so do rose-breasted.
Do they? Oh,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one yet.
Mm-hmm.
The catbird's amazing. It's in the mockingbird family, and sometimes you think it's an oriole, but it's the catbird. They mimic other birds.
Has anybody else seen the foxes?
Oh, yeah.
Last night with a squirrel, dead squirrel in its mouth.
Is that right? No, it cleared the chipmunk problem in our area, and I think I did find the remains of a black squirrel a week or so ago. But yeah, a family of them have been in there. We've had 4 at a time in some cases.
Got any to spare? We're having a real problem with the little red squirrels.
Well, I'll send the fox over to you.
Okay. They are really aggressive, and
Yeah, they are.
black squirrel shows up, they just chase it away, even though they're half the size.
Yeah.
Looks like a beautiful day coming,
Mhm.
and lots of rain tomorrow, which we really need.
I haven't heard lots, but I wish we would get some.
Well, to me, 5 millimeters is lots now.
No, definitely the farmers' fields, whatever's been
All right.
planted needs
Okay.
it.
Yep.
you
Mr.
get
Ramsey,
Peter?
through you,
Oh,
Chairman
Miss Peter
Ross
is up.
is connecting.
Okay. And Madam Clerk, will you be putting up the agenda in a few minutes or a few seconds?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you waiting for me, Cindy?
We're all waiting for you.
I think we're all present and accounted for, and here comes the agenda. So I will just get organized here before we start. And got everybody good. Okay, so I call the meeting to order at whatever time it is.
9:07.
Thank you. And you have the agenda in front of you. So could I have a motion to approve the agenda? We're just, it's a showing of hands for motions. So I see David Franco's hand up and Tim Belch's, Councillor Belch. All in favor, hands up. Carried, thank you. And
Okay, just leave it.
item 4, disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Anybody to disclose anything? No. Moving on to item 5, closed session. We are not having a closed session. Moving on to item 6, the minutes of the meeting of May 20th, which are flashed before you and which I think you've seen already. So could I have a motion to approve the minutes? Hand, please. I see Peter Ramsey's hand and Bruce Lepper's hand, in addition to some other hands. Sorry if I missed you, but that will do. All in favor, hands Hands up.
Everything.
And I believe it has passed. Thank you. Okay. So any business arising from the minutes, item 7.1, the feasibility study, old Arena Millbrook draft letter. I believe Mr. Lepper and Mr. Franco were going to confect a letter that would be presented to this committee and then approved by this committee, hopefully, and then sent on to council. So
We are going to do that. We haven't done it yet, but we've been doing some research as to the benefits of green spaces, etc. And there's lots of it.
okay, so any more discussion on the letter today, or is that enough to go on? Last time, I think someone got, Ashley, Stuart, I think you had audio problems in terms of, and you had some input in terms of the motion. The motion passed, but did you want to add anything today?
Is my video or my sound working today?
Yes, we
It
can.
is.
We can
There
hear
we
you.
go. Yes, my only note was just, making sure, before we decide on something that, all options are presented to us. I'm not completely familiar with all of the back study and the feasibility study, but that would be my only thought is, you never know what other ideas might come up. So, just giving any option a fair chance is really my recommendation.
Okay. I didn't see the last council meeting, but I gather a citizens group made a presentation using some of the material that had been produced over the years in terms of the Basterfield report and other things. So that is in the public record, I believe. That is, am I correct, staff? There was a presentation at council last time, or councillors?
Yes.
So that's more information that can be gleaned if the letter writers wish to look at that. So this is in the public record. So that's
Okay.
anything else on this item?
Chair, if I may.
Yes, please.
Yeah, the only thing I would recommend in the letter is, keep it, compact and to a letter. Like, you don't need to provide an entire presentation and, multiple pages and
No.
the whole gong show. We're well aware of what's what needs to be done, and we still have to go through the whole public process. So, an opinion is perfect from this committee. The committee doesn't have to prove anything to council, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that comment.
Okay, hearing no more comments, I think perhaps we can move on to the next item, which is item 8.1, the BIA report. And staff, perhaps you can give us an update in terms of, or Councillor Huntley, on how BIA is going to be represented on the committee?
Yeah, so the BIA, obviously, I don't know if everybody's aware, has gone through a fair bit of turnover in the last little bit as we kind of realign ourselves. And I believe, Heather has officially been appointed to the BIA, which will be great, because in her capacity, you now can be kind of the liaison from a BIA perspective to this committee. So all you really need to do is kind of highlight some of the funny things that go on in the BIA. And for this month, really, I mean, other than the staff turnover, we did get the planters, the summer planters have been set up, and I hope people have had a chance to take a look at them. They're looking pretty good, and they'll only look better as the summer goes on.
Okay, so Heather, do you wish to say anything at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I was appointed. I haven't obviously had a meeting. That'll be July the 8th. Just trying to get up to speed, looking back at some old minutes, and yeah, looking forward to it. Essentially, I understand I'm to be the treasurer, but again, all the financials haven't been passed over in record book, but so yeah, in the works, and absolutely, we'll give input, I guess, more at our next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Huntley, anything to add?
No, I think that's about it. I mean, like I said, we've kind of, the BIA has been realigning itself, and just hoping to start planning ahead for as things start to open up more. That's good. I mean, I guess the only other real BIA type thing would, and which actually ties back to this committee, is the Paisley Peddler is their patio open. I don't know if anybody has seen that. So that's great news. I mean, they used our CIP funds in order to put that patio in place.
Great. That's terrific.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to general business, item 9.1. I guess we were going to review the work plan.
Through you, Chairman Ross, I unfortunately did not attach the plan, so I would like us to have a motion to add the plan to our agenda, and I'll add it to the website following the meeting, and then we'll display the work plan.
Okay, so could I have a motion to add the plan?
So moved.
David Franco is moving. Ashley Stewart, I see your hand. All in favor? Hands up. Carried. Thank you. So we now have that motion passed.
Thank you.
Okay. So with my ever diminishing vision, I'm there. That's
I think
fine.
we all were squinting a bit. So
Yeah.
thanks to Cindy for enlarging it.
I could take my glasses off and put my face right up to the screen, but I think that would be too much like the Great Pumpkin appearing, and it's not the right season for that. So
And it's too early in the morning.
Yeah.
So can everyone except me see it?
Yes.
I do actually have a pair of reading glasses here, which is might help. Just a minute.
Through you, Chairman Ross, is that a little better? I did expand it to 123, but I can't see it. So as long as everybody else can see it, just because I have the window display up of everybody. So as long as the group can see it, that's
great. No, I can now see it with my reading glasses on. So do we need to go through it, sort of highlighting things again, or is there maybe we could just check off each item and see where we stand?
I think that's a good way to go through. I definitely know Peter has some updates on the parquet and the landscaping and the planter boxes. So maybe if we just go through high level the items, and I think Karen's got a little bit to speak about as well, and then we can just close it all off here.
Okay, so beginning at the beginning, the Dale Parquet landscaping, and Peter Ramsey, Bruce Lepper, and Karen Ellis have anything to say about that? And then connected with that is the planter boxes underneath with Peter Ramsey. So an update, please, or if you wish.
Okay, with the start at the beginning with the landscaping, the boards were delivered the other day for the new planting boxes. We've also been into Peterborough and purchased most, if not all, of the plants and trees that are required. They're now at home here, and we're going to nurse them along until we get the planter boxes finished and back over to the parquet. We're well under budget. Cindy, I don't know how much the wood cost for the planters. I don't know what.
Through you, Chairman Ross, I can confirm that, Mr. Ramsey, with staff. As well, Peter, I will send you an expense report, or I can come meet you and grab the invoices so that we can make sure you receive reimbursement for the expenses of the plants and trees.
Yeah, all right.
Thank you.
So I know without the numbers from Cindy on the wood material that we are well under budget for our expenses to this point. And because the planter boxes underneath that, which were initially for the plastic planter boxes, which we are not doing, you can see there's a $2,500 budget in there, which will no longer be used.
So just, oh, sorry, Peter, just to interrupt. So for clarity, that you're saying that the wooden planter boxes will be much less expensive than the plastic ones. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just don't know how much. But overall, I know we're under budget for where we're going.
Okay. Anybody in that group have anything to add to the first two items in terms of the work with the Dale Parquet landscaping and planter boxes? If not, then let us move down the list to Springville and Ebenezer Cemetery restoration. Is there anything to update us on that?
You, Chairman Ross, there is not. I know they're planning on coming around in July to look at the Dial pyramids as well as the monument, to look at giving us a quote on cleaning the big monument. And they're going to touch in with Springville and Ebenezer, but they don't believe that any restoration work needs to be done there this year. I think it'll be a 2022 initiative.
Okay. Okay, with everybody's permission, moving down to the review and update of the current heritage bylaws. Ms. Stewart, do you have anything to add to that?
Oh, I think that might be me, Chairman Ross.
Oh, okay.
So, but Ashley, feel free to jump in.
Okay, sorry, Ms. Ellis, carry on.
Karen,
Okay.
it's all you.
Okay, so I have, as we discussed at the last meeting, I have made contact with someone who's interested in helping us out. So we've made the contact, and I've together with Peter, we have picked Peter's property. It's already designated. There is an existing bylaw. We picked his property to start with. So I provided information to our volunteer to start the search. And we've had an extensive conversation, and I've emailed her information. So as she is starting that, just for the committee's information, we picked Peter's property because once we get the revised information, Peter is a willing participant in the process, and we could update the bylaw on his property. We felt there was no sense doing a property that we didn't have buy-in from the property owner, maybe. So this review and update is started on the first one, and we'll see how this goes before we venture into additional bylaws. But as time permits, staff will be pulling together information as much as we can in terms of available background information on our existing designated properties to move the other ones forward as soon as we can. So I will keep you updated on the progress of that as we move along. And if I should need any assistance, you will hear from me.
Great. Thanks so much. That's really encouraging. So good to know we're moving forward.
Can I confirm, is that 6 Gravel Road, correct?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to use the pick.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Can we move on to the next item, Heritage Awards? I believe at the last meeting we thought we should act sooner rather than later on this. I'm not sure anything has happened. Has anything happened?
So Chairman Ross, again, that I think Bridget and I are charged with carrying the Heritage Award banner. So I know that we are to do a, sorry, there's just a truck outside.
Tell it to go.
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's fine.
Another drive-by.
Yes, another drive-by. Yeah, so Bridget and I are going to work together to put a notice in the Millbrook Times. The website does have the Heritage Award nomination form on it already. The bylaw, the policy is there as well. So the information is already out and about. So if you could, through your social connections, now that we're allowed to have a little bit of social connection, if you could also fan the flames. So we will, once Bridget's back in the saddle too, we will do the social media blast and see if we can get some interest rolling so that we can move forward with the awarding of the recognitions.
And when did we talk? I can't recall when we talked about getting the ad into the Times. Was that in the early fall?
I think sometime in the summer as well, but I think that we could do August, and we might be able to do September. We'll try and negotiate a pretty good deal for a small ad, and as I say, use our social media and our website to kind of push it out, and our social connections. So if you are out and about and you see something that is worthy of a nomination, please feel free yourselves to fill in a nomination form. As I said, the forms are available on the website. If you can't find it, please let us know and we will email you one as well.
Could I ask Karen a question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, of course.
Have we kept any of the unsuccessful nominations from previous years?
Through you, Chairman Ross, to Mr. Franco, I believe that we have. Those are in the care and control of Bridget, and I am hoping to see Bridget face to face live in person next week.
Okay.
Great. But good point, Ms. Ellis, about all of us keeping our eyes open and if we see something that looks worthy of a nomination, doing it. So,
Yep.
Through you, Chair.
yes.
Miss Ellis, I don't know how often you see your buddy Kyle face to face, but if he goes out and does any inspections and he thinks that anything is worthy, maybe you could put a bug in his ear to kind of,
Keep
if
an
he comes
eye
across something, to let us know. Yeah.
Heritage designation just before it's torn down.
Ouch.
Well, that would be par for the course. Not necessarily from our committee, but other places.
Sorry, that was not an appropriate comment on the part of the chair. But good idea, Councillor.
Yes, I will do so. I do see Kyle much more frequently than I see Bridget at this point in time. But as things are able to open up a little bit more, I expect to see Ms. Ayotte more regularly in person.
Great. Okay, moving on, if that's people are all right with that, to the downtown mural issue. And the subcommittee was looking into, I believe Peter.
No, it's actually Bruce.
Bruce,
Yeah.
Bruce, thank you. So Bruce Lepper, you have information concerning this.
And I talked to Kathy Lysette. I've got a report based on her conversation with Andy Stevenson, which is very positive. He is definitely very much in favor of keeping the mural on the wall. He's also willing to help financially with the project. I haven't been in touch with him yet. I've just not been a week that I want to go through again. That said, I will get at that, and also with the sign shop, in order to reconfirm that their quote is still valid, or if it isn't, whatever adjustments may be necessary to make in that regard.
Yeah, and Bruce raised a good point the other day about the weight of the individual aluminum panels. Something that will have to be investigated just to make sure that the wall can sustain that kind of weight.
So just to be clear here, so what we're talking about is covering up the present mural with a photographic reproduction on aluminum or whatever it's on. Is that
right.
correct?
That's correct. Yeah, it's currently right on the brick, which is of course what is causing the problem, because the brick is not holding the paint. It's letting it moisture get through, and so it's destroying the mural slowly. The reproduction will be smaller than that, and so that is going to necessitate removing the image of the mural one way or another from the wall, and that hasn't been as fully explored as I think should be, to find out what the most efficient and effective way will be to do that.
Yeah. As soon as we've had a meeting with Mr. Stevenson, then we'll pop over to the sign shop when we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So should I open this to general discussion? Is this based on the information we now have? This seems to be the preferred option, or the realistic option is that the owner of the building is open to having this reproduction put on the building, and we need to look into, or the subcommittee needs to look into the specifics of that, the kind of nuts and bolts issues concerning around.
It's pretty remarkable that he's willing to contribute financially.
And I believe, according to Kathy, his background is engineering, and as such, I'm hoping to perhaps talk to him about whether or not he feels the wall will be strong enough to support the panel, or whether or not a better solution may be some sort of anchorage on the roof with a overhang kind of bracket support, whatever you want to call it, to put the panel on. That way to take the pressure off the wall itself. There's some concern that the wall may or may not be strong enough to support these things, plus which we have to maintain clearance for the the one window that's on there as well. So
Mhm.
this is one of the reasons why the mural is going to, of necessity, be smaller.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, anything more to add to that at this point?
That's all I have. That's what I have on it.
Okay,
May I ask a question, Chairman
of
Ross?
course, of course.
So will the mural need to be rehabilitated before someone takes a photo to create the image for the aluminum panels or whatever the final solution is?
I think that's something that I need to find out for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay,
Through you, Chairman Ross.
yes.
To Mr. Lepper or Miss Ellis. Was there not an original picture already taken of this in its original state that we were going to try to work off of instead of investing the money to rehabilitate it and then take the picture?
I was aware there was talk of picture, but I don't know whether it was ever taken.
Okay.
So I can confirm that I have pictures of the mural that I took when it was being painted, but I am not a professional photographer and I don't have a professional photographer like camera, but I'm happy to share what I do have for those who might have more knowledge in this field than I do.
Do you have one when the painting was finished?
Yes.
Completed?
Yes.
Okay.
I think respectfully through Chairman Ross, it might be an avenue worth investigating to save a little bit of money if we can, but if it isn't going to give us the end result that we want, then maybe it is better to repaint it and then take the picture. So I think we talked a lot. I remember this conversation back in the committee room at the new CMCC about digital reproductions of pictures and, you know, murals and stuff like that to make sure that they do replicate what it is we want. So just something just to keep in mind to the subcommittee, if we can, let's give the sign shop, as you were talking about, you know, as much information as we can or options before we do a repaint. Just a thought.
So here with, yeah.
Through you, Chair, I was about to say kind of similar as, you know, let's rely on the experts before we start jumping the gun here.
Yeah.
We don't need to repaint it if the experts who are going to reproduce it don't need it repainted.
Yeah, okay. So we need to hear from the experts. Okay.
Yep.
Anything else on
Cindy,
that?
Cindy is the
Yeah.
expert, so we can hear from them.
Okay, well, it's great to see this moving along, and I'm sure Mr. Ramsey is now sleeping well, having done so much over the years on this, and there's, you know, a new direction, which, and this committee has taken on. Is Peter's smiling? I see his hand up.
I just wanted to say, it sounds like the boys are on track, and I'm pleased with what they've done so far. So it's in good hands.
And we won't dare make any decisions without consulting with Peter.
No, because
Okay.
I'll annoy the hell out of you if you do.
Moving on. Thank you. 2020 downtown CIP incentives, including the rollover. Well, we heard about a little bit about that, but anything more to add right now?
I think through you, Chairman Ross, no, I think we can just hold off on those. We know that there was
Yeah.
approved budget. Miss Iat we can get to the latter part of the meeting, but I don't know if we want to entertain potentially holding a summer meeting because we haven't had a lot of meetings. So
Yeah.
maybe Miss Iat can join us if we end up having a July meeting or August meeting and give us an update on where we are with the CIP.
Yeah, I think that's a good, very good point. I certainly would be in favor of a summer meeting because we, you know, a lot of stuff
Yep.
we need to deal with. So if people are okay with that. Okay, thanks so much. So again, moving down to
Through
2020.
you, Chairman Ross,
Yeah.
can I just request, can we add on here, because I think from what I understand from Campbell Monuments, the quote that they provide us for was for the restoration of the monuments that are on the pyramids.
Yeah.
So they are going to go and they're going to look at the big dial monument because it does need some love. It's pretty, there were some pictures, I can share them with the group if you would like them.
Yeah.
And it's pretty mossy and greeny. So he's going to give us a quote on what it costs to rehabilitate or to restore and fix up the monument. He is concerned that there might be a crack at the top of the, I don't know what it's called, the pyramid on the very top, whatever that end piece is based on the picture that I sent him, but
Yeah.
he's not going to know more until he's on site. So I'm wondering if we can add that as a specific item on our work plan and we'll just call it the Dial Monument. I am glad to hear that we're within budget within the parquet and the boxes because we may need to draw on that remaining funds that are left over there to to pay for what it's going to cost to do the monument restorations.
Okay.
If we don't have it within our budget this year, then if the committee agrees, I will get Trevor to give us a quote and we can ask for it in the 2022 budget. But Peter and I met on site and, you know, we looked at a couple of things, including the trees, which I imagine we'll talk about that as well today. And it does need work. So I think let's start to carry a budget on making sure that that monument is, you know, preserved and retained, especially if we're going to put all this money and effort into making the whole entire parkette beautiful.
So what you're suggesting,
I would just like to add another box between planter boxes and Springville and Ebenezer Restoration.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 boxes. I'm going to carry one that says Dial Monument and we'll carry that work plan across. And then the other one I'd like to add under Springville and Ebenezer is just the Dial monuments or the Dial pyramids as well, because that we got approved. We have an annual or biannual restoration plan with Campbell Monuments. And Peter and I have talked that over. So I think we've found a happy common ground. The other thing I want to quickly touch on about the monuments is when we met on site, there was a little concern with the level of whitewashing that the pyramids or the monuments are coming up as. So we can talk with Campbell Monuments, or Peter had inquired about potentially meeting on site when they do the restoration. But ultimately, it's the product that that they use that gets down into the whitewash. And the thought is to restore it and get rid of all the moss and all the stuff that kind of deteriorates it. So unfortunately, the examples that I had sent to Trevor, he said the reason it looks the way it does is because the James was the one example. It still had the fungus and all the mold in it. And after it's next clean, it would be as white as the other monument. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's got some blue on the bottom of it right now, which we are going to try to get that off of there. Someone painted it or something, I'm not sure. But what eventually they're all going to look like that. So they are the experts. This is what they do. This is their baby. So I do kind of turn to Campbell Monuments on what they recommend to us. So if the committee is really not comfortable with the end result of the way these monuments are coming up, I think we should talk about it, because I don't believe any of it's going to change. I think the more we continue to have these restored, the whiter that stone is going to become. So those were just a couple points that I wanted to quickly talk about. And then if we want to talk about the trees up there, we can. They've just been attacked by the gypsy moth, and staff went up and they looked at them yesterday, and they believe unfortunately the damage is probably done. So we're going to see what life they show this time next year. So we may end up having to replace all those new trees that we put in there. It is I'm going to use the word pandemic just because it's easy on my tongue because of COVID, but gypsy moths are an issue this year. And as it stands now, we are not spraying or doing anything about it. I know that there's a little bit of stuff. I just received an email from Orca, so hopefully we can, get some information on our website, because I know private property owners as well as municipal properties are, being attacked or taken over by the gypsy moth. So unfortunately, it is what it is. I hate to say that word, that line, but we're going to watch the trees and see how things look next year.
No, it's a plague of biblical proportions. It's awful. But anyway, so do we need a motion to add these items, or can we simply add them in?
I think if you're comfortable enough to trust me, I think we'll just add them in. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that I was just going to kind of add those lines, because I think these are things we keep talking about, and this is a good tracker to keep an update on sort of where we are. So if everybody agrees, I just like to add it.
So then you need a motion, right, Cindy?
I think
that doesn't need a motion. So if everybody's okay with that.
Yeah, well, I am.
Okay.
I think it's a living document, truthfully, as we continue to work through it. I will say honestly, though, Councillor Huntley, because this is very similar to what we see every other week at our council meetings, and it's called a report. It's a CAO report, and it's on the capital and operating project updates. And so we do receive that. So it isn't a bad thing for us to take a motion to receive, the works and the discussions that we've had. So procedurally, we probably should do that, to be completely truthful. So I think moving forward, let's have a motion, to adopt the work plan as, amended or whatever we want to say, because we will always amend it as every month we'll have a new update. So I think we should.
It'll always be changing.
And through you, Chairman Ross, Councillor Huntley, it warms my heart about your procedural call out there.
You've trained me well.
So the chair is completely confused now. Do we need a motion or not?
Yes, please, to receive the work plan.
Receive, a motion to receive. Councillor Huntley is moving it, I think. That's right. And seconded by, I'm looking for a hand. Heather Clark is seconding it. All in favor, hands up. Oh, I can't vote. Okay. Thank you. Carried. Thank you. All right. Where are we in the list? We're down to, are we finished? That's it, I think. Is that right, Madam Secretary? We've lost it anyway.
The list back up.
The list.
I am. Just give me 1 second here. Sorry, we've got
Yeah.
fire alarm pagers going off here. Okay,
Oh,
there
dear.
we go. Give me 1 second. There we go.
Okay, great. So,
Yeah, we're not dealing with 26 King Street, apparently.
No, through you, Chairman Ross, I think
Yeah.
to be respectful, I would like Ms. Ide to be present for this conversation. So as it stands now, I'd just like to defer this, and which rolls us into our next item, which would be if we would like to have a summer meeting. You can do it at the call of the chair, or we can pre-plan it now as we have the team already on the agenda, but I would like to defer that until Bridget can join us.
okay. Well, I guess I put it out to people. Are you open to a July meeting, or would that be the time?
I am.
Anybody?
Yeah,
Nobody's
July-
planning a European holiday or
That's fine.
No. Yeah, if that's in reference to
Not-
Tim. Tim ain't going nowhere.
what? From staff's point of view, is that feasible at July meeting? I mean, will we have staff support
I think it's a great idea.
in July?
So we could do the third week of July, just to stick with the normal process, which would be the 15th of July. Having said that, I do want to make sure that Miss Ide is not on vacation. I do think it's important that she's here. So maybe we could tentatively book it for July 5th, and then I can circle around with Miss Ide. And if she's not going to be here, then we can do it at the call of you, Rob, and we'll figure out a date that works.
Sure. So we're
July 15th, right?
That's right,
15th,
July
yeah.
15th.
Yeah,
Sorry.
not
So we're
the-
a tentative meeting for July 15th, 9 a.m., depending on whether Ms. Ayot is able to join us. So
Miss
that-
Ellis, you're not on holidays, are you, that week?
No.
Okay, good. That's great. Okay, well, I think that's it in terms of the meeting. So a motion to adjourn, please. I see Tim Belch, Councillor Belch, David Franco.
I'll move the door.
Thank you. All in favor, carried. Wonderful.